Hostess, and this here may be tough to you. Snack cake to me, yeah, more hostess. This been overdue forever. Asked me when it was dropping, said never. Should've made you cut the feta, but I designed it Freemason Margiela.
What's good, Shellitronnn here, the most woke, no joking. I'm back again with a brand new video, and I'm gonna keep it up, bro, Brave Biscuit. I have no idea what to think about this game coming up against the Bucs. I'm gonna be as real as I can with you here. I'm not sure how to pick this game, and it really comes down to 3 words and 3 words only. It's those 3 little words: Ryan Fitzmagic. Why, Jameis Winston? Why? Jameis, all you had to do was play mediocre. All this man Jameis Winston had to do was play mediocre. I believed in him. What does he do? 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions? 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions. They put in Ryan Fitzpatrick at what was it, the 3rd, 4th quarter? I don't even know when it was. And this man goes 11 for 15, about 200 yards, and gets 2 touchdowns. Come on, bro. 3 interceptions probably makes you keep your job for another week. I can get on camera right here in front of y'all and say, look, we're playing Jameis Winston this week. It's going to be a good little week for our defense, get a little boost in our stats, you know. We can get off with a ranking for our defense. Go in, come out, have a good game here. Another game at home versus the Bucs. Not going to have fun doing this video, but no, Jameis, you had to do what you did in Cincinnati. Now you have to play Ryan Fitzpatrick. And if you're trying to fool yourself into believing that the Bucs are not a good team and that Ryan Fitzpatrick is not a good quarterback or is not good enough to produce at quarterback, you are fooling yourself. You are actually fooling yourself. Just look down the Bucs schedule. Let's be 100% honest. The first 2 games, Ryan Fitzpatrick played out of his mind. He had a borderline kind of bad game against the Steelers, but it's the Steelers. Week 3, I mean, that game was kind of a either way kind of thing, and they weren't blown out. It was a 30-27 game. They go against the Bears, who were rolling at that point in the season. The Bears looked really, really good at that point in the season. They get blown out 48-10. They brought Jameis in halfway through that game, and Jameis stunk it up. Then they played the Falcons, which honestly, Jameis looked alright. 4 touchdowns. He almost threw for 400 yards, and he had a pretty good passing stats. I think it was 30 for 41 with 400, and then Matt Ryan was 31 to 41 with his touchdowns and whatnot. But the biggest thing in that game was that Jameis Winston threw 2 untimely picks. If you throw 2 picks and you only lose a game by 5, that game's on you. That's not on the defense. That's not on the run game. That game was on you because the Falcons also only got, 70 yards in the run, and the Bucs had 120 yards in the run that game. That game was 100% on Jameis Winston throwing 2 untimely picks. It was a 5-point game. They go to OT with the Browns. The Browns are an OT kind of team. They can push you, but they're not going to ultimately win the game. And then you get to the Bengals game last week. I just wish we were playing Jameis Winston. If you watched the highlights of that game at least, or you went back and watched part of the game like I did, Ryan Fitzpatrick looked pretty good. You're thinking to yourself, okay, 11 for 15, 2 touchdowns, you know. But you have to remember, he did that. He went 11 for 15, 2 touchdowns with limited time on a week where, in practice, he was not getting the QB1 snaps. Ryan Fitzpatrick was not even getting the QB1 snaps in practice. And he came back out of nowhere and did that. So how do you think he's going to perform after a week where he gets the full week of QB1 snaps, preparation, and the game plan is around him? This is how do you think he's going to perform? This team is not bad. There's weapons literally everywhere. Deshaun Jackson wanted to trade. He don't want to trade no more. Mike Evans is a beast. They have guys all over this offense who can really produce. I don't want to get too deep into the numbers. I know some of you guys look numbers. I know some of you don't. But let's just talk about this Tampa Bay offense. Number 7 in points per game at 28.7. Number 1 in yards per game at 467.6. Number 1 in pass yards per game at 376.3. And obviously with the total in pass yards being what it is, their rush yards have to be mad low. It's 91.3. That's 28th in the league. But dealing with a prolific passing attack that the Buccaneers have, this week is going to be a test for our defense going up against not the number 1 offense in the league, but number 1 in several stats, top 10 in several stats. This is going to be a big test for our secondary, which is actually kind of shown up in a lot of different ways throughout the season, kind of quietly. Not through the first 8 weeks, but 7 games, our defense has had 9 interceptions and 4 fumbles recovered, and that actually compares pretty favorably against our 2015 defensive stats through the first 8 weeks, but 7 games, where we had 12 interceptions and 4 fumble recoveries. And keep in mind, those first 7 games of 2015, we played against the Bucs, and we had 5 takeaways in that game. So honestly, the 3 turnover difference in that year versus this year could be explained by that one outlier of a game. So we're playing pretty much about the same defensively and turnover stats as we were before. Even our points allowed between 2015 and this year are pretty close, 19 and 22 respectively. Those are all counting numbers, but the fact remains that we're playing very solid defense this year. It doesn't really show up in our rankings and whatnot, but we do play pretty solid defense when it counts. But this is going to be a real test because we've been asking the question over the last couple weeks, is Steve's Av back? Are we back to having that way of life, that culture in our secondary again? It was questionable. Starting off the year, it was kind of questionable. But we're looking pretty good right now. Now, the Bucs have one of the top-ranked defenses against the rush this year. I think it's like number 8 or so against the rush. But against the pass, the Bucs are actually ranked 31st. So this is going to be another game like against the Ravens where we're like, okay, the Ravens have a really good rush defense. And pass is all right. They have a good pass rush. But we have to really establish this passing game with the exotic plays, with using the rush game a little bit. This is going to be another game where we have to see exactly what we have with Cam Newton and the weapons we have on offense. I mean, we have DJ Moore, who really came out last week. We have Curtis Samuel. We have Jarius Wright. Torrey Smith, is he going to be back this week? Not sure yet. Let's look at the injury report as it goes on through the week, see how he's practicing and whatnot. We have Damiere Byrd. And there's another guy. There's another guy who wears 88. What is his name? I forget. I forget what that guy's name is. He plays tight end, and he's another big weapon for the team. Look, man, we have guys all over the field. We have guys all over that field, and I mean, that guy number 88. I think he's going to be one of the biggest keys to this game for us because, look, there's going to have to be a lot of one-on-one coverage with the receivers out there. We like to run a lot of 4-receiver, even empty back sets, but there's 5 receivers out there to really thin out that defense and say, hey, you want to double team one guy? That's all good because we have guys who are speedy and can create separation literally everywhere on this field. And we're willing to throw it to anyone on one-on-one coverage, and if you run zone on us and you don't have a man spying, what's Cam going to do? What can Cam do at literally any second in the game? We have a lot of different things on offense that we can throw at this defense. But like I said, the real test isn't on offense. We can do a lot of things on offense in the pass game. And I think that Christian McCaffrey, and if we throw in CJ Anderson a little bit more, we can do a lot more things with the exotic plays for both the rush and the pass against this really terrible Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. But the real test is going to be our secondary. The Bucs don't run the ball that well. Let's be honest. So our D-line, Kyle Love, I'm looking at you again, bro. You've been really showing out this year. I got to see some more out of you, bro. But Dontari Poe, 2K Short, Julius Peppers, Mario Addison, I need to see a little bit something more of you guys. Our pass rush is going to have to show up in this game because even though I do believe in Mike Adams has had a really great year so far. He's like 47 years old, still thumping, still being a ball hawk, getting those interceptions. We know what Dante Jackson's doing out there. I need to see a little bit more consistency out of Captain Munderland still, but keep doing what you're doing, bro. We have guys all of this secondary that can make plays, but we honestly don't want to have to force them to make these plays all the time. Our pass rush needs to come in. Now, last week showed me a lot of good things out of Eric Washington and his play calling. We were going from man to zone a lot. We weren't just sitting in Tampa 2. We were switching it up and bringing pressure from both the nickel and the safety position there. But what I also noticed in that game versus the Ravens is they saw what our Tampa 2 was looking like. It took them 3.5 quarters to really figure out what the Tampa 2 was looking like. But at a certain point, they figured it out and they said, okay, if you're going to drop Luke back kind of deep in the middle of the field, then we're just going to throw up the seams, or we're going to have these little short hitch routes, or the running back come out the backfield, get 2-3 yards past the line of scrimmage, turn it around. We'll nickel and dime you up the field with those 3 to 5 yard receptions from our running back, from our tight ends and whatnot. But if they try that, and they probably will, we can't let that distract us from the big, heavy hitters on the team with Deshaun Jackson on one side, Mike Evans on the other side. They can throw deep. And Ryan Fitzpatrick is not scared to throw deep. So even though they might try to go to that short game to like throw a few jazz lulls to sleep and whatnot, they're going to go for that haymaker up the field with those 2 explosive stars, and they are going to try to test us deep and early. So this may be a game where Eric Washington's plan of playing Dante far off the line of scrimmage, playing Captain Munderland off the line of scrimmage, us having a lot of cushion for our corners, that may be a really good plan for us we can keep the game in front of us and have really good, secure tackling, good form, good technique in our tackling, keep everything ahead of us, this is going to be a shootout. I've been wrong before. This looks like a trap game to me with a guy who wants to prove something, with a team with very strong weapons that want to prove something. All their games have been pretty close. I mean, looking at their schedule here, 8-point game they won against the Saints, 6-point game they won against the Eagles. The Bears in the Bucks game was a bad one. That's kind of a wash. That was a terrible game, honestly. But 5 against the Falcons, 3 against the Browns, and 3 against the Bengals. These are games that they pretty much all could have won minus that Bears game. I'm thinking the Bucks are actually a real team that got stuck trusting Jameis Winston too much. And Ryan Fitzpatrick comes through and shows why his name is Ryan Fitzmagic. We know that any team can split with any team in this division because we're all very strong in different facets of our game. This is a winnable game for us, but I think that Ryan Fitzmagic shows up and just out of nowhere, maybe even late in the game, they catch us on one. They catch us on one, and the score is going to be 35-42 Bucks. Call me blind, call me a traitor, call me whatever you need to for this prediction here against the Bucks. But don't be fooled and think that they're a terrible, trash team because of their 3-4 record and because we're 5-2 and we've been looking hot over the past 5 quarters. But no matter how you feel about this game, you already know what to do with that like button.
Cheers to you, appreciate the chance. Been told y'all I been the man. Been told y'all I had the gift. Tell a friend, real ones gonna recommend. Count this as another win.